Yeah, nothing. Nothing came to me. And you think after that long pause before I hit record, there'd be something. And you think after I said, you know what? I'm actually going to choose to finally hit record after sitting in silence for 10 seconds. You'd think when I actually hit record, I'd have something. But I thought, you know what? No, when I hit the button, something will come to me. Nothing came to me, and here we are.
I saw your face, and I thought he's thinking of something good. Okay, it came to me. He's going to hit record now. Then you hit record, said nothing. Like, oh, he's going to do some like really great dramatic pause thing. Something really profound's going to come out. I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Guess what I finally listened to today? I was at work. It was my saving grace today and yesterday, because yesterday and today made me want to fucking...
Remember you started off the sentence by saying guess, and then you just kept talking?
I got so frustrated yesterday and today at work, and this was the only thing that was making me remotely happy. So now I gave you the ridiculous way of giving the backstory. Now you have the
now
backstory.
I should guess?
Now you can guess, yes.
Okay.
Guess what I listened to today and yesterday.
I have no idea.
Finally listened to the... I don't know why it exists, but I listened to the Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast episode with Louis C.K. finally.
Oh, nice.
When he's the president stuff.
Nice.
Dude, that was so beyond enjoyable.
You know, one of the best things of all time is yesterday, you like 3 times were like, I almost brought, I don't want to say it on the podcast to talk about it.
Dude, you mentioned, I think, something from Matt and Shane yesterday. I almost said, dude, speaking of which, I almost fucking slipped. And then we were scrolling through stuff on YouTube. We saw Louis C.K. thing. I almost said, dude, speaking of which, I almost slipped. And then yesterday, I said, okay. I'm like, oh, by the way, you guys know where okay comes from? And I almost fucking slipped it. So I was watching this today.
That's hilarious. You're right.
Like, I was so excited to talk about it. I really,
how far did you get?
I listened to the whole thing. I finished it today. I got like 20 minutes into episode 3 yesterday by the time I got home, and then I finished them both today. I wish I was at a 5th episode. It would have been
awesome if you listened to this like 9 months ago when I listened to this, because I'm trying to think back.
Yeah, but now I'm
like,
tell you all
I'm like, oh gosh. I guess you're right. We'll just, I was going to say, who's your favorite president? And I was like, who the fuck is my favorite? I mean, I remember the Richard Nixon was really fun. I remember.
I love listening. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What you're gonna say?
I just wish I was a fan of Louis C.K.'s stand-up, because I love listening to him talk.
I know. I fell for the trap
so
too.
Enjoyable.
I watched him go on that podcast run. I watched him on everything. I watched him on fucking Matt and Shane. I watched him on the Theo Von thing. I watched him, I think, on those 2 dumbass guys in Manhattan who were like, "Hey, I'm a sitcom character that have all the comedians on, talk about food and shit." I watched him on a bunch of podcasts. And then I was like, damn, this is awesome. He's promoting his Madison Square Garden, Last of Madison Square Garden live special. I'm like, damn, I gotta watch it. I know. And I open it and I buy it and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting 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 and I stopped. And just to clarify, I went through the 20 minutes of just seeing the crowd get in. I went through the 30 minutes of the music. I went through all 3 of your shitty fucking openers. And then about 20 minutes into your set, I was like, I'm done. I wasted enough time and enough money.
I almost fell into it, though, because when I finished, it's like, what do I listen to? I'm like, hey, I'll just look up some Louis C.K. Like, no,
then, dude, you know what really killed? The next week, I'm hearing fucking Shane. He's like, oh man, I was at the place that fucking he murdered or killed. I'm like, well, guess what? Maybe, you know what? To be fair, maybe when you're actually at MSG, maybe it's a different vibe. Perhaps, but when maybe being in Jersey is just too far removed from the city, and it didn't quite translate over here. I don't know, but I was watching that, and I was just contemplating like every decision that led me to that point. Like, should I have ever even listened to Matt and Shane in the first place, to hear Louis C.K. and then watch his interviews, to then buy his special, to then be watching his special?
Honestly, of all the
because prior to all that, I just thought I hated the guy.
Of all the MSG shows I've seen, I think Dan Cook's is better. It's a good joke there.
It's classic, man. That's classic. Yeah, doesn't it suck though that Matt's only in the first part of the 4 parts?
No, because he did nothing in the first part. Matt didn't even exist in the first episode. Fucking Shane and Louis C.K. going on, and Matt's like, oh yeah, didn't he kill somebody?
You're kind of right, isn't it?
That's all he did. I love Matt, but Matt was fucking useless in that episode. I'm glad he left. Because he did nothing.
How funny was it seeing Shane get torn apart for?
It was hilarious. It made me feel so good listening to that.
Yeah, no, it felt good to see me put in his place, didn't it? For being such a sellout. Louis C.K. told him that. Louis C.K. said, "Hey,
not only that, but listening to how
the money. You really need the money.
I'll fucking pay
it. What are you doing,
dude? I didn't think
half of it's going here, half of it's going there. Why? What? You need that one? You're gonna bait them into watching it." You're doing an ad read as well, so you're going to do half on the Patreon and do an ad read?
Interesting how you, like, oh, I wish we talked about this 9 months ago, and I remember
that part I remember pretty clearly.
You're saying a hell of a lot.
I remember that part stands out because Shane looks so embarrassed.
That's what made it so enjoyable, though, because of the amount of times where I felt embarrassed and terrible on this.
That was such
nice to see somebody else feel that way.
The fact that he's like, oh my God, they're writing like how they think we talk. Oh my God. Hey, guys, do you have
a big dick? You'll probably listen to our show.
He's like, fuck, I hate when they do that. He's like, I just like when they just give me a generic thing to say, fuck.
It's so much funnier, too, that not only did he just get his asshole ripped apart for fucking suggesting the next episode is going on Patreon, then he has to read those stupid written for him fucking ads and get more judged. Fucking Louis C.K. was so disgusted.
I'm gonna get some water. He just leaves.
He's so pissed.
Probably went outside, smoked a cigarette. I was like, God fucking damn it, I thought I liked this kid. And comes back in
What an interesting fucking almost 8 hours of these two guys talking about not the presidents and their presidency, just how they are as individual
that's
people.
such an irrelevant part of all of it.
And Louis C.K. said so many times.
That's the reason I watched that. I bought like 7 presidential biographies.
Dude, I might listen to it again tomorrow because
it's so good. You should read the fucking probably the Theodore Roosevelt one. That was
I wrote down like 5 books.
Ulysses S. Grant one was amazing though.
Yeah, he was going on about how good that was.
So fucking good. Shane was totally right.
It was so funny listening to it because you told me about all that. I'm like, dude, this is hilarious. It's like it's so funny.
Ulysses S. Grant is a cool fucking cat, dude.
I love listening to him talk about Nixon though, just his admiration for Nixon, and I didn't know any of that shit about Nixon. And it was so great listening to how everyone was just in love with Jackie Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson. I was just like, Jackie, god damn it, I love you. And he's like, is that Mr. President? It was so funny listening to these two guys. I forgot Shane was even there though. Also, half the
only thing that sucked though was every once in a while, which I guess it makes sense because a lot of people to assume that every person who's been president is even vague. To assume that they're all interesting is a stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of dumb guys who manage to be president. But it does suck when you get to like a president and it's like we had nothing to talk about. Move on to the next one. It's like, all right, well.
I was a little disappointed with some of them that they didn't talk about.
Like, I don't remember. I feel like Polk they didn't say anything about.
No, actually, I think Polk was one of the ones with Shane was just like, I don't give a fuck about Polk.
Yeah,
to the next
because I'm pretty positive that's the thing about him in general. I might be confusing with another, but I'm pretty positive Polk's one of the ones where it's like he literally just did nothing.
The guy that whose wife.
I think Polk might have been the first guy to ever put a Christmas tree in the White House, though.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask about.
That might be Taylor, actually.
I thought it was the guy with an M.
That's specific.
Madison, maybe?
That's possible.
Whatever. Fucking that guy that they talked about. And they said that guy only agreed to do it for one term, and he, like, begrudgingly... Is that the word?
Begrudgingly?
Begrudgingly fucking did this the term.
Yeah.
And he said by the end, he was like, I'm so fucking exhausted. I can't believe I just did that. It was just like...
And also, imagine how much less president. They had to worry about back then, though, as well.
And speaking of back
then... Think about that, though, because there wasn't 50 states. There's, like, maybe 15 states, right?
Yeah.
There's no, like, fax machines, conference calls. It's like, you're doing way less work. And he's even like, God, this sucks.
It's so funny, too. And then, like, Jefferson's, like, bought the whole Louisiana Purchase. He's like, that was in a complete abuse of my power. I never should be allowed to do that, but I already did it.
Yeah, dude.
And they were talking about, like, with JFK and Nixon, and there's, like, that generation of presidents and how it was, like, those guys were so aware of what they were doing for history and how they'd be looked upon, and the fact that like these aren't just moments in our time; these are moments in the history of our country. And like that theology is just out the fucking window with today's world. It's ridiculous how that doesn't exist as a person.
Yeah, we're all super lame now.
No one even thinks in those terms anymore.
No, everything now is everything. Yeah, I don't know. I guess everything now is the complete opposite because you're right. Everything back then was guys. Every decision they made was in the to look ahead and what the results would be. Everything now is just like fuck it. You only live once. Do it right now. Fucking do it. It's literally just boiled. I don't even want to say because it's so. But do it for the vine. That entire mentality is just what everything's boiled over into. It's just that. So no one cares. Like, dude, fuck tomorrow, dude. Just live my life today. It's like if you how about you insure multiple tomorrows instead of just worrying about today. But no, you should listen to tomorrows. You should listen to the Dan Carlin on Richard Nixon.
Dan Carlin, okay, yeah.
That's a good episode.
Oh, dude, I thought you said George Carlin. I'm like, what do you mean it's a good episode? He's going to have a 5-minute bid on it? What do you fuck?
Dan Carlin.
Yeah, Dan Carlin.
Hardcore.
I've been wanting to get back
into
hardcore history, so yeah, I will.
One.
Fucking backpedal back. I hate that I can't just have a fucking train of thought.
I know. I wish it'd be so much easier. Like if you just go on a tangent and just 3-point turn, 3-point turn your way out of it and go right back to the. It's like you always lose exactly where you were going.
I don't know.
Also, if you say a K turn, you should rot in fucking the depths of hell.
Exactly.
K turn? You mean a K turn? K turn? K turn? No. Not that.
Also, how stupid are you? You can't understand the concept of 3-point turn. You have to go K turn.
Also,
it barely makes a K.
Yeah, that's why it's such a loose definition of being. That's like a sloppy K. Okay, yeah. That's like is that an R? Is that a K?
It's so.
It's like a really weird H.
It so barely resembles a K that one might just refer to as a 3-point turn.
A 3-point turn, perhaps.
Because you do make 3 points.
I hate that. It's, I get certain things is cool, and you're like, can't think of a good example. I guess let's just say sandwiches, right? How Heroes over here, Hoagies over there, Grinders over here, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. But then there's dumb things like then there's like where there should be no culture, it should be stripped away, everything should be uniform, everything should just be no personal individualism. It's like because if we were to have idiots saying K term, we should all speak one universal language to not have any of that happen. Remove all the dialects and everything else.
It's a fair point. See, that should be one of the tenets of our gathering community.
Right. Oh, just to. That sounds like most in cults do also just get a real tight stranglehold overall thought and understanding.
Not a cult.
1984 stuff, yeah. We'll start having thought police and everything else.
It's not a cult.
It's not a cult. Yeah, let's talk about more at the fucking the presidents instead of that.
Yeah, the president stuff. Fucking, who's your favorite president?
My favorite president or my favorite president they talked about?
Favorite one, it doesn't matter either way.
The answer is, do you have an answer? Because I gotta think of an answer.
I got a few, but I really loved listening to the Roosevelt stuff.
Which one?
Both.
Okay.
Because they're both fucking insane people, apparently.
Teddy's pretty cool. Didn't talk about the whole speech thing, how he gave a speech after getting shot and finished the speech.
No,
it was just like,
it gets better. He gets shot and
and he just coughs, yeah.
And
dude,
what
keeps
a fucking badass.
It's like an hour and another long speech. Then he goes and gets medical treatment.
That's fucking insane. I can't even imagine. Dude, if someone got shot 3 towns over from me, I'd be so shooken I wouldn't be able to continue my speech. Okay?
Imagine if you got shot.
When we were in fucking Fishtown that one time, I thought they were getting shot the night of. Remember when we were walking to the
it.
Well, I didn't hear it because I guess I was too fucking drunk. I wasn't paying attention. But
yeah,
I found out
one
the next
block
day.
away from us, someone got killed.
Dude, I was shook up the next day when I found out that happened. I was unaware of it. He got shot at and hit.
Yeah, that sucks and all. But you know what's cool about that time we went there?
What's that?
The morning of, I had like this literally one of the greatest drives of my entire life of all, just period, coming back from Philly. There was I don't know, maybe there was at the funeral, I guess. I don't know, but there was no one in Philly. I had only green. You know that? You know when you're going through like Temple and there's that shitty stretch of just like, let's have a light. Let's have just 1,000 lights, and they're all in the corner of the fucking.
That throws me so much.
They're not even above you because it's such a cheap fucking city. That is, there are street lights on the corner, and you have to look to the side. Like, okay, green, go. Okay, green. Okay. The point is, for once, instead of just this constant bumper to bumper, and the worst part is too, it's bumper to bumper. And there's like no cars. It's just you bumper to bumper. You're just getting trapped in this fucking never-ending cycle of red, green on these stupid, outdated lights.
Those fucking, the first time I saw those corner lights, I didn't even
so
know they were on the
confused.
corner.
Like,
I almost ran like 3 lights. I didn't know I was supposed to fucking look. I'm like, I guess there's no lights on this stretch. I can keep going.
Dude, Philly fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah, fuck you, Shane.
Oh my god, what a piece of shit.
Like how I spun that back?
No, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, fuck you, Shane.
I guess, yeah, you brought it back. Sick, dude. Sick.
Thanks.
Nice. Awesome.
I was so
No, I'm not done.
What else is
okay?
new?
I was explaining to people at Philly how dumb it is to drive there in the first place. My point was, after the guy got shot 10 feet to our left, fucking that next morning I had the best drive of all time. I didn't have all those stupid lights. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe they were all red like you said. But I'm almost certain they were all green. Okay, and the only light I had that was red was like one in the middle of Temple, and then 4 girls who were way too attractive to be going to Temple walked in front of the car, and I was like, nice, that's a red light I don't mind. Maybe I wouldn't mind traffic if there was just gorgeous women walking around the cars like it's fucking Fast and Furious, you know?
That's something I can get behind.
But no, then the best part though was then out of nowhere, this is the best part too. This is why it was such a good drive. I forgot I erased myself from existence during the drive, okay? My phone lost the connection entirely, and my car GPS started spazzing.
I would be so panicked.
It was awesome. I just turned this here off. I'm like, I'll just drive and see where I go. And I got to this one stretch. I have no idea what road.
You sound like a regular Teddy Roosevelt.
What can I say, man?
Adventurer over here.
I fucking had this one stretch. It happened before I even left Philly. So it was like basically the entire drive. Because I remember when the thing first stopped, I pulled over into some residential area. I remember thinking like, wow, this is surprisingly nice. Like there's these nice, I pulled off in like a cul-de-sac and these like actual nice homes with the gates. And I'm like, wow, this isn't, we're in Philadelphia? This is crazy. Then I leave that area because like, okay, my car's just not working. My phone's not working. My GPS isn't working. Fuck, I'll just drive. So I drive, come back around, get on whatever road. But at some point I got onto some stretch of some highway. I've tried like looking on Google since and like figured it out. No idea. Now, again, I was not under any substance at this point, but like the road had like red concrete, okay, like a reddish concrete.
I think I know what happened here.
Giant stretch. Shut up. There was this giant. No, it's not like blood red or anything like that. You ever see like fucking? You just killed. You just really drunk and killed everyone. No, it wasn't that. It was like a maroon colored concrete where it's like black but like a little red to it. Okay.
So it's dried up blood.
No. Like a clay almost, okay?
Nice spin.
And fucking, I drove on there for, I swear to God, it could have been realistically and more accurately probably like 2 minutes. But it felt like a 15-minute stretch with not a single car on the left of the road or passing me or behind me or I could see in front of me. There was just no one existed in the world but me. And I had no fucking, I said no GPS, no phone. I was just completely alone with my thoughts driving this way.
Imagine a world.
And I swear, at one point, I was probably only going like 75, 80, but I was going way too fast on the road. And I was just like, who gives this shit? I was like, I felt like I was in a fucking commercial, honestly. It was just, no one was around me. And that was right after the guy got killed. So like I said, I was pretty that's a positive memory associated with, I guess, the sadness of the reality.
Actually goes back to the Louis C.K. thing. I'm pretty sure it's Louis C.K. I was listening to. He was saying about the, you need to have those happy moments in your life, but you also need those sad moments in life so you can actually understand those happy moments.
You know sometimes that's to every dumb person in the world. I said all the time, where you have to have the bad to appreciate the good. And I'm not saying this is a smart thought I'm having. I'm just saying it's something I say, but the reaction you get is as if the person's like, wow, you've reawoken my understanding. It's like, you never thought that yourself, asshole? Everyone thinks everything should always be good.
I liked listening to him talk about. Fuck, I had such a great story I was going to rewind back to.
I ruined it. I'm so sorry.
No, you didn't ruin it. I just had no fucking ability to think, apparently. I'm like a goddamn gnat.
You have to have the fucking good for the bad.
I know,
bad for the
but
good.
I didn't expect you to go on that
Louis
rant.
C.K.
No, it was a president thing. She's like, you talk about the president. So there's one really...
I was driving in a... we didn't go that far off the conversation.
No, because it was well before that, but you went on a very long tangent. So I was holding on to that.
Oh, God.
Fucking... It wasn't Nixon, really. Oh, it was Reagan. Listening to talk about Reagan was amazing. Fucking the shit that Reagan went through. And listening to how fucking...
Didn't they talk about the fucking photo too, don't they?
I was gonna get
they mentioned the whole...
so funny, and he's waving. And
Nancy's like, oh my God, no! But that's the best photo of Reagan
I didn't
of
know
all
he was
time.
losing his mind while president.
Yeah.
I assumed that was after he was
president. The second term was a bit fucky.
Yeah, and they were and listening to it, and Nancy was like, apparently they were in the office, and he tells a joke, and then he has a bite of his chicken salad, and he says the exact same joke, the same delivery.
That used to happen all the time.
But then everyone's laughing, and she goes, "Do you guys not see what's wrong with this?" I know,
she was cool.
She sounds awesome.
Did they talk about the part? I don't remember if it's from that, but did they talk about the part when they went to his ranch?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, if something goes wrong, just talk to Nancy.
Yeah, and I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
Whatever she says is the plan. And then they're like, all right, Jesus. It's like the fact that, again, the presidency, that was when being president was cool. Now it's just like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Fucking, they were like, that's a plot to, that's Dave, the movie, but in real life, okay? Mm. The president's losing his mind, and now it's just like, now he's just essentially a figurehead. It's awesome.
And Bill Clinton's his birth name's not Clinton.
What's his name?
I forget what they said his name was.
That's helpful.
I forget what his actual last name was, but his stepfather's name is Clinton. Apparently his stepfather's a huge piece of shit. But because his half brother's name is Clinton, when Bill Clinton turned 18, he said he went to change his name legally, so he said, "Now we can finally be like real brothers."
Blythe. Yeah, he was born Blythe, so his name is William Jefferson Blythe III, and now he's William Jefferson Clinton the first, I guess.
That's interesting. They said that his name was Jefferson. Now you just said that. Remember that they said he was going to be another Jefferson.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's a nice story about that guy.
About the dude, the 42nd president of the United States. I don't know. I can't have. Whenever Bill Clinton comes on, there's only two things I can associate with Bill Clinton. Mm. Three things. One, we can all assume with Bill Clinton. Mm. The second thing is the Phil Hartman sketch.
Yeah.
It's all I can think. All I can think of is Shakira. That means African princess, doesn't it? Yes. That's all I can think of whenever I hear Bill Clinton's name. And the other thing I can associate with him is, unfortunately, I told you the other night, is just definitely maybe. And Ryan Reynolds being like, "Oh, I'm so excited to work on his campaign."
It's so funny you say
Mr. President. That's all I can associate with Bill Clinton. And three things that are things that are completely
And I'm also who's the guy?
Mr. President, I worked on your.
Who's the guy in SNL who now does the announcing for it? Bobby Monahan.
Yeah, I had his name until you said that. Oh my God, I had his name. Daryl Hammond.
Daryl Hammond. It's just Daryl Hammond jogging in that scene too. It's not even Bill Clinton.
They should have just gotten fucking his brother to do it. That'd been pretty funny. He could have done it.
It's so funny that you associate Bill Clinton with fucking definitely
maybe and a sketch of Phil Hartman from the 90s.
That's hilarious.
Dude, you know did they talk about Ross Perot at all?
No, they didn't actually.
Really? They didn't mention Ross Perot with Clinton in the 90s? Because that's crazy.
They didn't talk about him at all.
Because the whole Bush, senior being the one-term president, didn't he have like 37% of the vote, and Clinton only had like 44% of the vote, and then Ross Perot had like 18%. I don't think that math added up.
That's pretty close. I think he had 13. No, he had no. I think
the point is though, it's like that if Ross Perot doesn't run independently, who the hell wins that election?
They didn't talk about their presidency, bro. They just talked about them as the people. Remember,
Ross Perot was a pretty influential part of 90s politics.
No, they didn't talk about him all. And then they talked about fucking Louis C.K.'s fucking interaction.
Yeah, with Bob Dole. And
that's why they did. That was such a good story. I don't know who Bob Dole was. What a story.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Fucking, and then also the one with him. The second one is the one where he drives at a stoplight with George Bush.
Yeah,
and then just waves at him and waves back. He's like, God damn,
and they talk about the shoe story with George Bush.
He's just a nice guy. Fuck.
Yeah, she sounded like him. That was funny. Yeah, I like that he's like, I fucking hated him, but once I met him, it's like, I can't hate him now because I know how he's actually a really nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
And it's such an interesting thing. I never in a million years, would have ever thought, I need to listen to Matt and Shane and Louis C.K. for 2 hours about the presidents. I need Matt to get the fuck out and listen to only Louis C.K. and Shane talk about the presidents, but not the presidencies, just them as people. I didn't know I needed to hear that, but it really made my fucking day the last couple of days.
No, I agree. It was super fun to watch when I watched it. That shockingly good. I told you, it tricked me. It made me watch. It made me just take all this Louis C.K. information and be like, God damn! And I was enjoying him so much. I'm like, I have to watch his stand up. And I'm like, what are the chances this Saturday, March 28th, 2023?
Yeah, we thought it was
8
density.
p.m. at Madison Square Garden. And oh my God, I can watch it online. And also, I thought, I'm like, dude, Louis C.K. is so cool. He has his own website. He has Louis on there. He has all his specials on there, and his movies are on there.
Yeah, it's so
he's
badass,
like, fuck
actually.
Netflix, fuck the streaming services. Louis. I should have done that naturally the first time. Instead of thinking about it after and trying to put it back in there. Fucking, that's also the theme song to his show. Fuck. But
I was gonna say, if it's not, it should be.
I think, and one of the things I listened to him as well when he was talking about his website, he was saying how like he's had the same people on his site. It started off like a mailing list originally, just to say when his dates were happening for his shows. So it was like he's like, there's people on there who have been on there since like 2003, and he like recognizes the names. I mean, that's awesome.
That is pretty cool. I don't understand how I can like listening to him talk so much, but when he does the
Two Bears, One Cave, talk how dumb Bert Kreischer was as well, which was pretty funny. That was pretty awesome.
I've only ever heard him talk about how he likes him. And I've always heard Bert talk about how Louis C.K. was so nice to him on tour that one time.
No, he wasn't being mean to him. Louis C.K. though, if you watch, I mean, I guess maybe Bert probably fucking with his, loose grasp of reality left thinking they were just like bonding over everything. But literally everything Bert said, Louis C.K. responded like, really? Is that what you think? On every single time. There's a part where Bert's saying how whenever someone he knew he would die, he would look at it as like, damn, I guess I'm never going to die because I haven't died yet.
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
Louis was like, is that what you actually think? You're fucking deluded. That's the stupidest thought you could possibly have.
It's interesting. I think that I like listening to him talk so much, but I can't stand listening to him talk when he's on stage.
Doing jokes.
You know what the problem is? I just realized the problem is. No one's going to admit this, but Louis C.K. suffers from podcast Robbie syndrome, in which he becomes a different person on stage than he is when he's just talking. And I prefer the not podcast Robbie version of Louis C.K.
No, I agree with that. I'm trying to find a photo of Bob Dole.
While you're doing that,
isn't
I'm
of him.
lead into a story I wanted to tell you now for 2 days.
Go for it.
Fucking, I'm glad I was listening to this because I went on a fucking a halt essentially with those investigations because I just all the good ones I listened to already. Now I'm stuck with the 20-minute ones. Yeah.
Somehow there's like 25 good fucking think of how many people are doing crimes today being interrogated. How is there only 25 good interrogations that have been released to the public?
Fucking, so I couldn't listen to any. So then I was talking to them before we leave, and I was saying how because we're going back to that guy's house that I said it seemed like I was going to do one of those shows.
Yeah.
Fucking going to be going back to tomorrow or Friday. And I was telling the other painter saying how, I just the same story I said on here, essentially, how I'm going to have one of those shows. So then I was telling my dickhead boss about this. And like, I've listened to these things like the last 3 weeks. He's like, scare me a little bit, Rob. You're trying to make a dumb joke. And he's like, I brought a hat.
You didn't even say it like him or
no,
look like him.
Going to.
No, hold on. But just the words let me get up. I see it entirely.
Yeah, well, I brought a hat to demonstrate the next thing he said, which is quite possibly the dumbest thing
I'm excited.
he could have said in that moment.
I'm waiting.
Okay? And I had to put a hat on so I think I could do the face perfectly, okay? Have you seen him do that face? So he did that face, but before he made that face, he said, he's like, there was this one lady who listens to those shows and she killed someone because she wanted to know how it felt. But if I had to be a serial killer, though, I'd only want to kill the bad guys.
Dude, oh my God. I hate that.
How good was my face,
That was great. But that's not, you know what? First off, fuck you for thinking
wanted to
you're
kill
the
him
authority.
right there on the spot.
Fuck him. He's like, I decide what's good and bad. I'm the authority. I'll only kill the bad guys. It's like, shut the fuck up. Anyone who says that is so goddamn... I'd love to be a killer, but only to kill. I'd love to be a vigilante killer. Fuck you. Okay? I'm a vigilante killer. First off, half people who get killed probably suck anyway, okay? The majority of us do.
And no, you wouldn't.
And also, every single person who fucking is an asshole piece of shit thinks they were the one in the right to begin with. That's kind of the curse of it all. So again, I'm going to kill who's bad. That's a very morally ambiguous task you've taken on.
Also, how old are you? 13? Why did that come out of your mouth?
Yeah, that's also, yeah. These people who are watching movies like, no, see, there's clearly good and there's clearly evil.
You're fucking stupid. What are you talking about,
so
asshole?
Fucking stupid. I'd only kill the bad people. I'd only kill the bad ones.
You know what else dickhead did the last 3 days? There's just 3 days in a row now. He basically told me when I can take lunch and when I need to get done before I take lunch. And he
Right.
proceeded to take lunch with the other guy immediately after.
Classic.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking hilarious. It's like, all right, I'm going to go to work today, which is going to consist of me not having what I need to have there to go. Oh, that'll probably kill 2 hours to getting the actual supplies. Then I'll go do quote unquote estimates. That'll be another 4 hours of my 8-hour workday. Then I'll go do work for about an hour and a half. Then I'll go take an hour and a half lunch. And I'll come back another about an hour and a half of work.
On Monday, when I had to drive an hour to one job, then an hour to the next job.
So I'm sorry, did you tell me you just worked about 4.5 hours? Like, no, probably about 3.5. I'm like, okay, just making sure.
When I had the job to the other job, I was an hour away. He was like, try to get lunch beforehand so we don't have to leave again once we get there. And you know what? So then I did take lunch, and I took a long lunch. And you know what happened when I got there? He left for lunch.
Nice.
What the fuck?
What a fucking stand-up guy.
So not to take it away from Louis C.K., but that's why I was so happy to listen to Louis C.K. the last couple days, because it made me really happy dealing with fucking scumbag and dipshit.
Yeah. The president, I kind of want the president again, honestly.